they so disrespectful? Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of As Told by Ray. I'm Teray, and if you are new here, welcome. If you are not, hey y'all. So this week's video, I am going to talk about something that was kind of really off topic. I've been struggling all day trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about this week. But I watched an interesting show on Oprah's network. It's called Black Women Own the Conversation. And pretty much they have 100 black women and a couple like well-known panelists, and they discuss different issues within the black community that are pretty much geared towards women. So they'll have different conversations about motherhood, sexuality. They will also have conversations, about the complexion issues that we have within the black community, black hair, and things like that. So I thought it was really interesting, the first couple of episodes that I watched. So I wanted to come and talk about something that was a new revelation to me, which was in regards to the conversation about hair. I feel like some people are going to think that did you have a revelation about hair? But I really did. I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. But first, before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I do my uploads. I upload every week on Mondays. So yeah, so if you've done that, then you can keep on watching this video and we're going to get into a little bit of a conversation. So when I was watching the show, they were having a topic about black hair, and the panelists that they had Stacey Abrams, who ran for governor of Georgia. She's a black woman, for those who are not in Georgia and don't know who she is, Monica, and they also had Kim Whitley. So they were having these different conversations, and they had, of course, 100 women in the audience, and they were getting their opinions on the subject as well. So two of the women that actually were featured on the show giving their opinion, they were older black women, and they were discussing the topic of hair. One woman, her stance was basically that she's not into wigs, weaves, braids. She doesn't feel like black women should wear them. And the other older woman, her sentiment was that black women can't naturally grow their hair as long as they are wearing their wigs or their weaves in the length that they're getting their braids. So why would you put something in your hair that you can't naturally achieve? Mind you, the woman who said this had braids. So anyway, I thought it was just very interesting to hear what an older woman's perspective was. And of course, you had other older women who were saying that the wigs and the weaves, it's making us as black women want to kind of pursue a white look or a European look to try to fit what the beauty industry for decades has told us what is beautiful. And then you had younger women giving their take on it, and it's like, no, I don't wear wigs and weaves and things like that because I'm trying to look white. I wear it because I want to change my look. And for me, that's how I feel. I, of course, have natural hair, and I didn't always have natural hair. I used to perm my hair, color my hair, but I don't straighten my hair. I don't wear wigs. I don't wear weaves. I don't wear braids in order to, or definitely not braids, but I don't change my hair and not wear it naturally because I'm trying to look a certain way or I'm trying to look more white. For me, it's like, I wanted to be able to do different things with my hair that I'm not going to commit to wearing my hair a different color. So why can't I just buy some that's the color that I want it to be for 2 weeks? Because I don't keep it long. So yeah, so after watching that, I really thought about it, and I was like, well, when is the first time that I noticed that my hair was different? Because honestly, I didn't always know. I don't know if it's because when I was younger, I went to a black Christian school for elementary school. So every kid was black. We had tons of black girls and all our hair was the same. So I don't know if it was that it wasn't something that was in the forefront of my mind, that my hair is different. I don't know, but I never really, as a child, noticed that my hair was different or felt like I wanted to have my hair straight or I wanted to have blonde hair and blue eyes to fit a different image or to kind of fit that Barbie image. And I was a Barbie fanatic. I had every Barbie on the planet, you name it. I had a Barbie dream house, Barbie convertible, Barbie McDonald's, Barbie hotel. I would literally walk up the aisle in Toys R Us, or when Toys R Us used to send you the little Christmas booklet, and just check off all the Barbies that I wanted, and my mom would get them. Of course, I had the black Barbie and I had the Hispanic Barbie. I had a mix of them, but I never felt like, oh, I need to look like this, ever. I've never felt that way in my life. It wasn't until I went to college that I actually began to notice it, or that it was brought to my attention. And I'll put some pictures up on the screen of the various ways that I've had my hair, but most notably in college, I had really, really, really bright red hair. Like, ugh, this hair was the best. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't that bitch with my red hair. But I had that and I didn't think anything of it. I worked for the federal government for about a year and a half as an intern, and no one ever mentioned my hair. And I had this hair, this red, bright red hair when I worked for the government. I never got any comments about my hair. And I was around the CFO of the company or of that agency. Never, ever brought attention to my hair. Never if I wore my hair straight that day or if I had a weave that week. It was never like, oh, your hair, look at that. Never. It wasn't until I did an internship with one of the big 4 accounting firms that my hair was brought to my attention, and I really started to notice it. I still have the red hair at this point. I showed up for the first day of the internship, and it was just like everybody in the room stopped to look at me. But if you're not familiar with big 4 accounting firms, it's pretty much a very conservative, mostly Caucasian environment, and everybody wears black, blue, and beige. That's pretty much it. I don't wear black, blue, or beige, so, and my hair was bright red, so I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I'm black. I just had all the shit that they didn't want going on with me. So the head of HR for the interns pulled me into a conference room, and we had a discussion about my hair. And, you know, not in so many words, it was basically, you need to change your hair because partners aren't going to like it. And pretty much I wasn't going to get offered a full-time internship. And that was the first time that it was like, oh, there's something wrong with my hair. And I had just dyed my hair, like to kind of touch up my roots. So, and for her, she was just like, well, can you change it? Like, how quickly can you change it? And I'm like, bitch, I just colored this. Like literally 3 days ago, I just colored my hair. But anyway, I had to go home and I made the decision. I pretty much, like, looking back on it, I feel like it was stupid. I made the decision to just go ahead and dye my hair a different color. Like, it was still red, but I had to just tone it down. I told her that, I'm like, look, I can't go from red to blonde overnight. Or, I don't know how you think hair color works, but you can't go from one extreme to the next. I'm not going to do that. So I just toned it down. It was more like a 99J when I finished with it. If you know hair, you should know that hair color. If not, look it up. I was like a 99J, and I went through the rest of the internship. But having that conversation that day, one already told me that even if they offered me a full-time job, which they did, I didn't accept it. And it kind of set like a series of events in motion that I was unaware of. I became very self-conscious of the way that I looked. It really kind of took like a little bit of a toll on me. Anytime that I would come into an environment of all white people, it was just like, okay, Tori, make notice of your hair. If you're going to change your hair, you know, it can't be what you really want it to be. You can't have these outlandish colors, and you can't do all of these different things, because what are the white people in your office going to think about you? And for a while, I decided to just go ahead and grow my hair out naturally. One, because I had damaged it so much from coloring it, from switching the color so drastically, and in such a short amount of time. Like, my hair was just like literally shedding like a golden retriever. It was a mess. So I had to kind of take my time and kind of really work on my hair. I would grow it out, cut it, grow it out, cut it. I was not brave enough to just do a big chop and have 2 inches of hair. I'm just not brave enough to do that. All props to anyone who has done that. Your girl, I just can't. I can't have 2 inches of hair. It's not gonna work for me. Yeah, so going back to that panel, when I watched it, it really kind of put into perspective that not only am I gonna have to have so many other different conversations of what it's like to be a Black woman in society, I now have to add the conversation in about hair. Something that I never thought that I would have to have a conversation with my child about. I think that the comments from, or the opinions of those 2 women kind of showed me that as much as Black women are moving away from the box that people have tried to put us into, there are still others who are stuck in the box, who are trying to take you and put you in there with them. That I don't want my daughter to ever feel the way that I felt. And I want her to be able to know that there's nothing wrong with your hair. You can wear your hair straight. You can wear your hair in its natural curl. You can do all of these different things. If you want braids, you can wear braids. If you want to wear a wig like mom, you know, when you get older, you can wear a wig like mom. As long as it's laid, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you walk around with your wig looking crazy, we're going to have another conversation about that. But I don't want her to feel like she's sticking out like a sore thumb. Like, I want her to always be confident in herself that ain't nothing wrong with my hair, you know, and that her hair really doesn't have to define who she is. One thing I do appreciate is I appreciate going to an all-Black school as a child. I think that really helped me because it wasn't a topic of conversation ever. Everyone looked like me. So it wasn't something that, oh, we have to have a conversation about hair. We have to have a conversation about the way we look. We have to have a conversation about all of these different things. We don't have to have conversations about that because we're all the same. So that's one thing that I actually do appreciate about going to an all-Black school. And I also appreciate that I went to a predominantly white college, and I did have to work in environments where I was the only Black person, because it exposed me to what other people actually think, because I hadn't previously been exposed to those things. But it also made me a better person. It made me a stronger person. It put me in a situation to stick up for someone else, for them to not experience what I was experiencing. Or they may have still, experienced it and definitely felt some type of way about it, but I wanted to make sure that in that situation they knew that someone else that looked like them had their back. So yeah, I'm thankful for having those situations, and clearly to this day I still show up with my hair curly. When I go on interviews, I purposefully don't straighten my hair. I want you to know this is what you're gonna get. And when I come into the office and I have a new hairstyle, I answer people's questions like, oh, you did something new to your hair. Yes. And I'm gonna go back to my work. Like, this isn't a topic of conversation. No, you can't touch it. Don't ask me all these questions about it. It's hair. Leave me alone. And I'm gonna go on back to it. But yeah, so I don't know if any of you other moms or any of you women in general have ever had that conversation, have had to have that conversation with your children, or have felt any kind of way yourself about how you look and how you present yourself in any environment, not just a professional environment. So if you have, especially, I want to get the opinions of any mothers who have had to kind of have conversations with their kids, because I don't, of course I have a couple of years before I have to have that conversation, but I don't know what that conversation would actually be like. Like, where do you start with that? So if you have had that experience or had that talk with your children, please put that in the description, not in the description bar. Leave me a comment, because I really, really like to get other people's opinion and feedback on this particular topic, because I don't even know what I would do when that time actually comes up. And also, if you've had to have this conversation with a boy, I think that here we kind of have that synonymous with girls, but what about boys? What do we do for them, for our boys that we let grow their hair out? Do we just kind of force haircuts on them? Or, how do we do that if they just want to naturally just grow their hair out? So I really like to get other people's opinions on that. So yeah, I think that if you haven't seen the show, it's called Black Women Own the Conversation. It's on Oprah Winfrey's network. It's actually really good to the different topics that they go through and getting a lot of different opinions on that. So I would really, really like to other people to join the conversation. If you have watched it, let me know what you think about it. And if you have not watched it, I encourage you to take a look and it's only like 3 or 4 episodes so far, but I encourage you guys to watch it and let me know what you think about that. So that's all I have for this week's video. I feel like I was kind of all over the place, but what's new? Anyway, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Please make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you have not. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave me some nice comments below. And I will see you guys in the next one.